So let's see how we can get the animation and the poses into this new utility. And we go into construction script, and now we will implement this path here. And for that we will need the following. We need here introduce new variable and say animation sequence instance edible, and here search for anim sequence. Move this into the section. Oh yeah, let's move it here so that it's in the second place. And then, oh no, sorry, here it should be. So I'm so confused today, why? So here we need to get the animation sequence and also make it or convert it into a validated get. And we implement this pass here. If you select them both here and press Shift A, you will align them here on the left side, which is quite convenient. So we also need a function which is called apply pose from anim sequence frame. This one we need to implement, and we go back in construction script here, and now we need a struct. Let me see how it is called. Yeah, it should be this. Structures, new struct, Ruben structure, st_tt bone location rotation. Bone location. No. It should be a vector. That's the location. Location, and we need a new variable as well, and this one is here a rotator. Rotation. So, and here we also need to introduce a new variable, and this is our bone, our corrections, held object corrections. Sorry guys, it might be a bit overwhelming for you, but this one is very complex, and I hope you can still follow. So we need an array here. It's also instance editable, and it should be an array. So move this here. This variable here later will store our corrections which we need for the bone we want to modify, and here we need to get it, and then we can continue implementing our stuff. We need to resize this one. Resize. Connect it here. I think you should just follow or lean back a little bit, follow and see what I'm developing here and try to understand what is going on. So we move this up to make it more clean. And here we can ask the animation sequence how many frames. Get num keys. That's exactly the number we need for the array size to have for every frame a combination of location and rotation for the bone. And then we also need to get num frames. How many frames are there? To be able to clamp our frame index. Clamp. So, and this is the maximum. Let's move it here, maybe. And we need to get the frame index here. We already have the frame index. We want to set it. And here. And the minimum is 0, of course, and the current value is our frame index. So we want to clamp this one. So here, and connect this one here. Make it more pretty. Maybe move it a little bit down. Press Shift A. Move this entire thing a little bit to the right and this one a little bit to the left and align this one. So what we can do now is the following. If we, oh wait, is the frame index in the it's in the expert section. So, and if we click on our new utility here, this mesh basically, 1H pose is wrong. We'll fix this quite in a few seconds. So, and we need to select the pose here, and you can see already, maybe, hopefully, where we are going to. So here we set the animation sequence, skeleton mesh, the held object, and I think, oh, let's set it here in the class settings, in class defaults. So here, set it here, please. Pause, because then you can, yeah, basically have multiples of them if you just drag and drop this new stuff to the scene, and you still have the default value, because this one is for the 1H pistol pause. And I wanted to show you something more. So what we can do now is we can move the slider here, and we have still the values of the range from 0 to 9, so basically 10 frames, and you cannot set more. So this is very important, because now we will start implementing posing the skeleton mesh within this function here. And let me see, one thing more, class settings, no, class defaults. So this is 0, that's perfect. So resized everything, which this one we will also cover in a few seconds. But at first, let us implement here the stuff that you see, what is going on, and how we can work with this stuff here. So, and the posable mesh. So here, let's say this is the posable mesh. Let's posable skeleton mesh. So we need to get this one, convert it into a validated get. And we need to ask this one the number of bones. Why does it not work? Get. I'm confused. Why? Oh, sorry guys. I'm so wrong. It's this one. And this one here we need to ask get num bones. Sorry, I was wrong. And we need to subtract 1 so that we get a proper index. And then we need to get a for loop so that we can iterate over all bones. And here we then get posable mesh. So let's also rename this one again and say get bone name. And here we can get the index from the loop node. And we need to promote this to a local variable and say L underscore bone name. Connected. So, and if the loop is done, completed, we need to call a function here, which we implemented in C++, so that updates our pose of the skeletal mesh. Make it a little more pretty. So to make it clear, the loop is finished here. And now we need to introduce a new private method as well. So here we click on function and say is virtual bone, because we can skip virtual bones. We don't want to pose them. So this is a pure function and it's private. It's also in the private section. And how it is implemented is super easy. So we here need to introduce an input value, and this one should be a name, and here we say bone name, and we need to convert this to a string. Is here toString, and we can try to find a substring, and the substring is VB space. So because every virtual bone starts with VB space, and that's how we can distinguish or find out if it is a virtual bone or not. And then we need to call our return node. Where is the return node? Return node. Here also we need to introduce a boolean. Return value. So that's perfectly fine. Buy and save, and we go back to our function. And here we now can say is virtual bone. Pure function. Need to use a not node, not equal. I want a not node, not boolean. This one, and the branch node. So what do we need as well? So now we know that we don't have a virtual bone in the loop, and we can still continue on the true execution pin, and we need the animation sequence. So where is the animation sequence? Here. Get. And we need to ask is valid raw track name. So yeah, as I said, this one is very complex and we will need some time to implement it properly. So here we need to get the bone name. This is basically a check that we know that this track or arrays of transform is valid and we can also use here a branch and continue on the loop. So we are very close. So let's implement it first, the good path. The error path we implement later. And for that, use the poseable mesh component and say set bone local transform by name. So here we can pose our bones get the final pose we are looking for from the animation sequence. You will see it in a few seconds. It's quite interesting. So how we can do this is if we get the animation sequence and say get bone, so to see if there is something, get pose from frame, and yeah, we will remove this in a few seconds. You will see why. And here we say the bone name, of course. Select this one, connect this one. Also here we connect the bone. Move also this one to here to make it more clear. A little bit down. Shift A to the right. So we still need the index. How do we get the index? Oh, it's the frame index. Yes, of course, makes sense. It's our frame index. So save everything, compile. And now you will see something very interesting, hopefully. No, why is it not working? Normally we should see, or maybe I forgot something here in the construction script. No. This one works, this one works. Why does it not work? Why do we don't see? That's weird. Sadly, I did something wrong. Yeah, let me pause the video here and I will come back when I found the issue. So I found the issue and the editor did something really badly to me. So here it should not be the first frame, it should be the last frame. And we start from 0. And if we compile, save, we can now set the pause. Look at this. That's interesting, right? And we can then work on this stuff here. So let me make the viewport a little bit bigger. So it's very interesting. And what you should also do is build the light once. Where is it? Is it here? No. Because somehow lighting needs to be rebuilt. Is set on my, oh here it's build lighting only. Because I had some performance issues when I was moving the frame index up and down. And yeah, let's wait a little bit. It should be done in a few seconds. Lighting needs to be rebuilt. Yes, now it should work perfectly fine. So yeah, you can click this one here and then use the mouse to move it around. I'm not sure why this happens. So it kind of freezes the editor a little bit. I don't know why, but normally it works fine. So we now have a pausable mesh, a Manny basically, where we can see the poses of ALS and set them basically in the scene view. That's the ground or the base for our system. And we will now continue on and implement more stuff. See you in the next session.